Seconded.
This meeting is being held in conformance with the Sunshine Law. Notice of time, date, and place has been furnished to the record in the Ridgewood News. Notice has also been posted on the bulletin board of the Administration Building. Will the clerk kindly take the roll?
Mayor Giordano.
Here.
Mr. Bjork.
Here.
Mrs. McNamara.
Here.
Mr. Orbit.
Here.
Mr. Shalero.
Here.
Mrs. Sherman.
Here.
Everyone kindly rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Let us have a moment of silence for our War veterans and all veterans across our country who have given the ultimate sacrifice to keep us all free. We have a prayer now.
Dear Lord, please impart to us your wisdom and guidance. Let not our decisions be self-serving, but fair and for the good of our borough. May we ourselves find unity in our endeavors, which reflect the earnest effort to solve, assist, and be available. In his name, amen.
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 Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's meeting. Just a couple of items under my report. First of all, I attended the Lions Club dedication concert as well as the last concert of the season for the borough. Councilwoman Sherman will talk a little bit more about that under her report. Also, tonight, we will be going into closed session for personnel matter. Also, I was informed tonight that our grant administrator, Matthew, and his fiancee, Shihar, he got engaged tonight or this weekend. We congratulate him. And we wish him much happiness. He's aiming at a 2023 wedding, so we look forward to that for him. And also, on the 23rd, rain date the 24th, there will be the annual trunk or treat by the Waldwick Alliance in conjunction with the borough. They'll have a parade starting from the Christopher Goodell Public Safety Building down into the train station area where free pumpkins and juice and coffee and muffins will be given out to the young residents as well as their parents. And we will also have judges for best trunk and then also best costume. This year, a lot of parents were a little upset last year about only one gift. So this year we'll have first place, second place, and third place. We'll make everybody happy, and hopefully everybody will be coming out to support this. And we look forward to seeing all our young residents dressed up in their Halloween costumes. That's all I have to report as of right now. Financial Administrative Committee, Mr. Shalero.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Fire and Police Protection Committee, Mr. Orbitz.
Thank you, Mayor. Last week was Fire Prevention Week, and I'd like to thank all the members who spent their personal time with the kids of Waldwick, visiting our firehouses and our schools with the Fire Prevention Bureau. I think they got a lot. I think the schools got a lot, and they showed the kids all of our equipment, and they explained fire safety to them. I think it's important for the kids to bring that info home to their families to keep themselves fire safe at home. The open house was Wednesday. It was a huge success. With all the residents in town were able to see our equipment and witness some demonstrations of that equipment. And I'd like to make a reminder to all our residents that this is a good time of year to change the batteries in your smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. And heating season is fast upon us, and it's a good time to fire up your heating system in your house to make sure there are no things that you shouldn't smell or kinks are coming out of it that you shouldn't be hearing. Police Department, the insulation project for our police headquarters will begin shortly. The temperatures over the years have been uncomfortable because when the building was originally built, the insulation wasn't done properly in the building. And Patrick met with our contractor and our architect and the police, and hopefully we'll see that project completed before winter sets in. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Recreation and Health Committee, Mrs. Sherman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have a presentation tonight on the Ted Bell Park. It's moving along nicely, and tonight we will authorize the advertisement and receipt of bids for rehabilitation of that park, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about it. There will be a WAFA meeting on the 20th, which is next week, so I'm sure that will be a hot topic of conversation during that meeting. As the mayor mentioned, on October 3rd, there was the Lions Club concert, and I was honored to help accept the donation of the lights for the Oval to commemorate the centennial of the borough. The lights really were very bright, and they did a nice job, the Lions Club, so we thank them for that. It was a wonderful concert. The Kinderhook Band, they were really entertaining, and they have a great history of events that they have played at in the past, and I want to look at booking them possibly for a summer concert series in the future. I think more people may come out in the summertime. I don't know. On October 6th, I attended the last summer concert series at the Oval, Under the Lights. It was the Moonlighters. They were fantastic. It was a swing band. There was about 16 members of the band, and there was mostly horns. So it was really great. And when that was done, I walked up to the high school for the homecoming pageant, and people were telling me how great they sounded. They were able to hear them all the way at the high school, so that was exciting. I, too, attended the fire department open house. What a wonderful event that was. The firemen did a great job. The little children were using hoses to put out pretend flames, and it was adorable. I wanted to try myself, but I didn't want to push a kid out of the way. So it was really nice, and I thank the fire department for that. It was a lot of dedication on their part, and I was able to tell they put a lot of time into planning it, and it certainly paid off because they did a wonderful job. So thank them for that. On October 11th, I attended the Board of Education meeting, which was just last night. They discussed the sudden death of longtime employee Janet Sopkowitz. She worked in Waldwick schools for 52 years, and unfortunately she passed away on her lunch break. So very sad for the district. She was a very dedicated employee to the borough and very good to the students. She helped a lot of kids over the years, and she definitely made an impact in their lives. She was also a councilwoman in the borough of Washington Township, and she was their first woman mayor in Washington Township. So she was a little pistol of a woman. She was barely 5 feet tall, but she left a mark in this world, and I'm happy that I knew her. As the mayor said, we have the Ragamuffin Parade coming on the 23rd, so that should be fun. It starts at the Christopher Goodell Public Safety Building and ends at the train station. That's being sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, so we thank them for their dedication to the children as well. And then under new business, if it's okay, I could discuss my beautification committee.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Public Works Committee, Mrs. McNamara.
Thank you, Mayor. Over at the DPW, they have continued catch basin work for all of those streets that were not involved with the road paving program. Some of you may have seen some frustration expressed on social media about one near people's homes. I just wanted to encourage people to reach out to the DPW and Borough Hall if there are, major issues with any of the catch basins near their homes, so that we can address them and put them at the top of the list so that nobody's getting injured at them. As I mentioned, the road paving program is complete. Right now, Mike is just addressing some puddling issues in certain areas and going over line striping that needs to be done on those streets now. I had asked him about certain spots in town, such as the bridge over Franklin Turnpike. on Wyckoff Avenue going over the train tracks. You can't really see the line striping anymore. I guess they used to use the plastic geothermal stuff, and it doesn't work well, so they're gonna have to use paint instead. He will be reaching out to, I guess, the county about that again, since it's something that we've brought up in the past. So hopefully they can take care of that sooner than later. They're still working on repairing the tire swing over at Borough Park. They hope to complete that by the end of the week. They were busy with keeping all of the streets clean for the 5K route. They were busy keeping the parks clean in anticipation of the concerts that kept going, getting canceled and canceled and canceled over at Borough Park. The sewer maintenance program will be starting soon. They continue to patch potholes. Michael said that they've been doing some hard pruning and elevating of trees over at Veterans Park. Also at Veterans Park, he said they laid down topsoil, aerated and seeded that property. Apparently the county league officials and refs have said that it's not suitable for playing, and so the Warriors Football Club has resorted to using HCA, which I believe is a little frustrating for them since they could use Veterans Park, but now HCA is at a cost to the program. I saw a fence went up around well 6. I believe they might be talking about some further plans on planting trees around the perimeter before the winter, I believe. As it relates to the water department, the Manhattan Avenue project is pretty much wrapped up. My understanding is that residents are now relieved that they have clean water that's not full of sediment. And I believe their street was just swept. And Michael was there today just checking on everybody to make sure that everybody was okay. And a thank you to Joe and the fire department. My kids still enjoy when they come to school. And thank you to Joe as our crossing guard as well for giving a call when my kids missed me at Lindbergh Parkway pickup. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Building and Grounds Committee, Mr. York.
Thank you, Mayor. Not much to say. A lot of overlap tonight with other committees. You know, Joe touched on our insulation project, and you guys talked about the dedication of the lights. Patrick, I was going to discuss with you that guardrail over at the cul-de-sac at the end of White Pond still is not repaired yet. I just want to make sure that that doesn't fall off our radar. And we'll look at other items under the consent agenda and resolutions later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Borough Administrator Patrick.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one item to report. The Boy Scouts from Waldwick did a project in Borough Park this past weekend. They worked on the area around the gazebo. They transplanted some of the grasses that were there, took out some of the loose rocks that were there, and they also worked along the path down towards the pool and cleared around the fishing piers in that area to make it easier for the fishermen to cast. So that was a good project that they had worked with us on conceptualizing, and we were glad they were able to do it this past weekend. That's all from me, Mayor.
Thank you. Borough Clerk Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor. At your place tonight are 2 additional consent agenda items. Michelle Martini requests to use Pavilion A on October 23rd, 3:30 to dusk for a birthday party with alcoholic beverages being served. The second one is that the Golden Club requests to use their budgeted funds for their Christmas party with an approximate cost of $2,300. So I'm going to, if no one has any objections, I'm going to add those. And the reason that I added the first one is because there's alcohol being served, and I can't approve those. You have to. Also, there's a resolution to renew the limo license for DJ Limo. I've received all of the paperwork necessary to approve that. With regards to elections, I still have 3 ways to vote listed on our website with videos and podcasts on this. Also, there's a video on how to complete a mail-in ballot. It's quite detailed and very good, so if anybody is doing a mail-in or mail-in ballot, vote-by-mail ballot, it's good, there's good instructions there. Today is the deadline to register to vote for the general election. October 23rd to October 31st starts early in-person voting period. Again, there's information on our website as to the locations of where that is taking place throughout the county. October 26th is the deadline to apply for vote-by-mail ballots by mail for the general election. And November 1st, by 3 p.m., you can go to the county clerk's office and do an actual vote by mail in person in the county clerk's office. And then again, November 2nd is election day. The polls are open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. I just want to remind you to bring your sample ballot with you. You'll be able to check in quicker by them just scanning the barcode on top of your sample ballot. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Grant Administrator, Matthew.
No report tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Borough Attorney, Craig.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one item. I received all the documents back from M&T for the purchase of the parking lot over there. We'll prepare the deeds and hopefully be closing on the property within the month. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Consent resolutions and resolutions of the governing body.
Be it resolved that the following resolutions herewith listed by consent, having been considered by the governing body of the Borough of Waldeck, are hereby passed and approved with the addition of policy vote C, which is Michelle Martini requests to use Pavilion A on October 23rd from 3:30 to dusk for a birthday party with alcoholic beverages. And policy vote D, the Golden Club requests to use their budgeted funds for their Christmas party with an approximate cost of $2,300. 2021-290, approval of consent. 2021-292, approval of minutes. Regular meeting, September 28th, 2021. Policy votes A. Lisa Loria requests to use Pavilion B on October 16th from 2 to 6 p.m. for a children's birthday party with alcoholic beverages being served. And B, Michelle Kelly requests to hold a block party on October 23rd from 4 to 9 p.m. with Campbell Street to be closed between 24 and 15 with alcoholic beverages being served. 2021-293, award non-fair and open contract to Rybrand Well Drilling for Well 5 repairs in the amount of $6,900. 2021-294, change order number 1 for 2021 ADA curb ramp upgrades. 2021-295, authorize advertisement and receipt of bids for the rehabilitation of the Ted Bell Park. 2021-296, authorize amendment to the auto cab license for DJ Limo LLC. 2021-297, accept the resignation of Neil Moses effective December 31st, 2021. 2021-298, amend resolution 2021-288 to change hourly rate of $20.50 an hour to salary of $32,445. 2021-299, authorize appointment of a full-time crossing guard, John C. Williams. 2021-300, authorize release of cash maintenance guarantee for FSP Waldwick Property LLC, Block 163, Lot 13.01. 2021-301, authorize security deposit return to JPC Catering for concessions operation at the Waldwick Municipal Pool. And 2021-302 is the payment of vouchers.
Do I have a motion and a second? Motion
So
by
moved.
Don, second by Joe. On the question, just a couple of items that I'll talk about, and then whoever else would like to jump in. 2021-298, what that is that we're going from the dispatcher who is going from per diem to a full-time. So that now no longer will she get an hourly rate, she will get a yearly rate. Also, the refund of the concession operations money is a $500 deposit that the JPS Catering gave to the Borough of Waldwick. Hopefully, they'll be coming back next year. Hopefully, they'll be doing, a good bid so that they could come back, as everybody was very happy with the performance of them this year. Anyone else? If not,
Mayor, I got a couple. Okay.
yes.
Kelly, for you on the Lisa Loria request.
Yeah.
Every time I look at these pavilion things, it seems like the forms have changed a bit. I noticed that she doesn't have alcohol beverages will be served checked off, but in the hold harmless agreement it says it is.
And
And
she-
then also in the.
And she is.
So this should be checked, this big,
Yeah.
like that right there.
Yeah.
And then, like I noticed on here, checkbox, if phone number is unlisted, does that mean we're not supposed to publish it to the public? I've never seen that before.
Yeah, so what happens is then we don't put that out if it's an if somebody overs it.
Oh, okay,
Because it's an
yeah. I just
unlisted
hadn't
phone
seen
number.
that before,
Yeah.
okay. And I'd like to comment on, the resignation of Neil Moses. He's a longtime dedicated employee, and I wish him and his family the best. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone else? Clerk, kindly take the roll.
Mr. Bjork?
Yes.
Mrs. McNamara?
Yes, but I will abstain from policy vote 2021-292.
Mr. Orvitz?
Yes.
Mr. Shalero?
Yes.
And Mrs. Sherman?
Yes.
Okay, we have introduction of ordinances. Would the clerk kindly read ordinance number 2021-number 28 by title?
Sure. Ordinance number 2021-28, capital ordinance of the Borough of Waldwick in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, appropriating the sum of $165,000, authorizing various improvements to be made at Ted Bell Park, appropriating therefore the sum of $165,000 to be funded through the Capital Improvement Fund in the amount of $120,000, and the Municipal Open Space Fund in the amount of $45,000.
A motion and a second is in order to pass and move this ordinance on first reading, and that it'll be advertised in local legal newspapers as required by law, setting a public hearing 2 weeks from tonight's meeting at 7:30 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter may be reached. Do I have a motion and a second? Motion by Nicole, second by Terry. On the question? Would you
Ma-
and Matt want to discuss this?
Yes, I can discuss the ordinance. So this is a slight change from what was sent out on Friday. Friday had included a total capital ordinance of 145. It's increased to 165. We added another $20,000 from the capital improvement fund. The capital improvement fund still has enough money from previous years to make that contribution. All of this is fully funded. It's not borrowed money. We won't take out bonds or notes for any of this. The full project financing for this will result in, if this is passed on second reading, $365,000 for the project. So that is $200,000 that the borough had approved in the beginning of this year, and then this $165,000. Included in that is a $97,000 grant from the 2020 Bergen County Open Space and a $75,000 grant from the 2021 Bergen County Open Space. That grant we anticipate receiving in December. So we have an indication from the county that that will be approved, but it does have to be voted on by the county commissioners. We want to kick this project off as soon as possible. So we're lining up all the funding now. When the county gives us that actual grant amount, we'll be able to amend this ordinance, reducing it by the amount we're awarded from the county as an offset. But in order to award the project in December, when we'd like to, we need to appropriate the money now.
Anyone else? If not, would the clerk kindly take the roll?
Mr. Bjork?
Yes.
Mrs. McNamara?
Yes.
Mr. Orvitz?
Yes.
Mr. Shalero?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherman?
Yes.
Okay, under unfinished business, the rehabilitation of Ted Bell Park presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm passing around to the council now the Ted Bell Park project financing. The reason this information wasn't included in the packets or made available to the public is it includes the project estimate, which isn't public knowledge. So, yeah, absolutely. So that's being shared with the mayor and council. Also to rely on, as we discussed this, are the renderings from the engineer of the project. So this was included in the council packet. It was also linked on the Friday email blast that goes out to all the residents who receive our community news updates. So hopefully the mayor, council, and public has an opportunity to review these, and we'll go over them in some detail now. The first thing to look at is the project plan, the site plan. It's a flat drawing here, black and white, of what the aerial view of the park will include. So this is what we had originally anticipated would be a phase 1 and phase 2 for the project. Both of those will be included in one phase now, which is to our benefit. It'll be, one-time disturbance, and it will also save us some money because we anticipate getting a better and more competitive bid from the contractor, and it reduces some of the engineering overhead for the project. So you will see, and they highlighted a little bit here on the plan, there's a proposed 5 to 12-year-old play structure, a 2 to 5-year-old play structure, a swing set, This will be a paved path through the park, running from Center Street over to Nordham Street. Off of that paved park, there will be a paver patio that will have room for 2 picnic benches on it. We took into consideration ADA needs in designing this project, which is why that the pathway through the park will be fully paved, why we have a paver patio area. The swing set will include an ADA accessible swing, and that is directly across from the entrance to that. So if you see that first swing on the right-hand side, that's an ADA chair swing, basically. And the material under both the swing set and in the play areas, that will be an engineered wood fiber mulch. So it's different than the typical mulch we have in our playgrounds now. It's a finer mulch. Some of it is shredded, and so when it is applied and then compacted, it knits together and provides a more compact and even surface area. So that, combined with us positioning the play structures so they're as close to the paved walkway as as is feasible, helps with that ADA accessibility. And the play structures themselves have accessible components as well. You can see then, if you move over to the color drawings, and one other item, you'll see off the paved walkway is a notch out for a bench, and then a paved area next to the bench for, if needed, let's say a wheelchair. It can also be used for strollers or whoever else is using it. Then if you go to the drawings, the 3D renderings of the play structures, you can see the actual play structures themselves. It is a large upgrade from what is existing there now. Multiple slides, multiple ladders, some climbing walls, monkey bar rung. So these are large play structures with a lot of accessories on them, which is very nice. We have taken into consideration the proximity of the neighbors when they're choosing these play structures, so they won't have a lot of noisy elements. So in a lot of parks now, I know for my 3-year-old, they have a lot of bells and literal bells and whistles. So this will do away with all those noisier elements. But it is they're really, really nice upgrades. We have these on state contract, and so which gives the borough a little more control in choosing exactly what we want, what manufacturer we want, and we will purchase it directly from the manufacturer through state contract, which will also reduce the end cost of these structures. There won't be a contractor markup for purchasing them. It'll speed up a little bit the timeline on this, since the contractor won't have to submit shop drawings to the architect for the play structures, since the borough will be purchasing them directly. And the only other item, and a little bit separate from the drawings, I had mentioned that we're combining Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the project. There will be some additional engineering costs for the Phase 2 portion of it that hasn't been awarded to Boswell yet. So when we awarded to Boswell in Phase 1, they were to do the full design of the park, but only the contract administration and inspection for Phase 1. We'll have to add to that the administration and inspection for Phase 2. So after we have the financing go through on second reading, and probably right with the award of the contract for the park, for the construction of the park, we'll also ask the mayor and council to award a contract, or to award a change order to the contract with Boswell in the amount of $13,200.
This project, you're going to put a sign up, right? Like we have in Borough Park?
Yeah.
Take that sign?
Yes, there will be a Ted Bell Park sign, and we'll make it look similar to what we have in the other parks. So there's some similarities. Yep.
Anyone else have any questions for Patrick? No?
Don did. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you guys.
Good.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm just also trying to understand, you have some icons here for trees and plantings and things. So are there some things that we're leaving there, or are we clearing the whole area and starting from scratch?
we will leave as many trees as we can, and some of, like, you can see this, the swing set area, it is kind of fit between some of the existing trees that we don't really want to go up against. We may have to make some field modification in terms of the border of those parks. If they run up right against the trunk of the tree, we'll maybe stop the border of that. What you see is edging around the swing set area and around the playground area as it runs into trees. So, yeah, you do see, especially towards the bottom of the park, around the swing sets, you see 3 trees. Those are existing trees. And then the new trees to be added are shown, 2 of them along the eastern side of the park, running against Nordum, and one of them looks like right adjacent to the walkway. And one other thing, since I forgot it earlier, in the swing set, in addition to this park, we will also have baby swings. So those don't exist currently. We'll get 2 baby swings, 2 full-size swings, and 1 ADA swing.
Nope, I'm
That
good.
was me.
It's Terry.
That was me.
All good.
Thank you. It looks wonderful. I applaud your efforts on this, and thank you for all the hard work. Patrick and Matthew, thank you. I just have 2 questions. Will the picnic tables you have, will they have an area where wheelchairs can fit under them? Like, will the bench be short and the table overhang so you could pull a wheelchair up to them?
Yeah, it hasn't been spec'd out yet, but I will ensure that it does.
Okay.
Yeah, there are 2 tables there, so I'll ensure one of them has that area for wheelchairs to pull underneath the table.
Wonderful. And then the second question, the mulch that's going onto the swing set, will a wheelchair be able to be pushed across that? Will it compact enough for a wheelchair to be pushed onto it with a person in it? You know.
The engineer and the company that makes the mulch says yes, and that's the reason that the mulch is designed in this way is specific for ADA accessibility. So it's not just a regular mulch that conforms to the ADA requirements. It's designed in such a way that it will accommodate that. And in the renderings, you can see, I mean, obviously it's just a rendering, but just so you understand that this is done with this in mind, you can see that a wheelchair is using one of the play structures.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much.
You're
That's all
welcome.
I had.
That's great.
I had a couple thoughts. The first thing would be to make sure we have some crosswalks, possibly getting from across Nordum so you can get into the park and forcing traffic to stop as people are, crossing the road to get to the park. And then the same thing on Center Street, basically lining up where both gates are. And as far as the paver area where the picnic area is, I think we might want to look into stamped concrete. It won't settle. It won't be a maintenance problem with weeds growing through it in the future. So I don't know if the council agrees with that idea, but I think it might be worth consideration.
That's great.
Anyone else?
Yeah, you can have colored concrete,
You can stamp.
Yeah.
pigmented, but it's just stamped, and I think everybody's seen their pavers after 10 years.
Yeah.
They're settled, there's stuff growing through them.
That's a great idea,
No,
Greg.
this wasn't.
No, not, I'm saying the picnic area.
Oh.
Picnic area.
You have macadam on the thoroughfare going through, but the picnic area is designed as pavers.
Okay.
So,
The crosswalks, I'll speak with the engineer about what can be accomplished. I know on Nordum Street, there are no sidewalks, and there are no sidewalks on the street just off of Nordum, and that doesn't really line up well with the park. On Highwood, there is a sidewalk on the north side of Highwood. We can-
Do most people just walk to this park, or is
Yeah.
somebody going to
Yes.
park on Highwood, hop out of their car, and then
They
get
might,
over there?
they might park, they could park on Highwood, so
Yeah.
we should, we should plan for, any potential scenario. They could park on Highwood. There are no sidewalks on Center or Nordum,
Right.
even adjacent to the park. We can see if there's a way to line it up better, maybe, maybe there's an improvement to be made there, but it's not gonna be, like a sidewalk to sidewalk crossing.
Great.
If there's not if we can't put in an official crosswalk, I'm sure we can do pavement markings for playground ahead. Something to indicate to drivers that there'll be that type of playground activity.
Great, thank you.
And we can spec that out as well.
Anyone else? Okay. Any other unfinished business from the council? New business, anyone from the council with new business?
Go. Just half unfinished, half new. Did you and the resident, Patrick, speak about the donation of trees? Did he call you?
We did, yeah.
I haven't spoken to him since.
Yeah,
but-
very nice gentleman. We spoke at length, and he's interested in it. He's going to come back to us.
Okay.
Yeah, so nothing was.
Okay, and then, you know, I know the county told us no on the right-hand turn. I told them I'd ask again exactly what their reason was. I just know they said no. Do we have any, like, correspondence from the county that said, hey, this is why we're not gonna let you do it?
We do, sight distance.
Site distance.
Yeah,
okay.
sight distance looking for eastbound traffic
Okay.
from the Monroe Street stop bar.
Okay, fair enough.
So.
I
no,
thought it was because of a tree, one tree in particular on that house on the corner.
It could be, but it would be a tree affecting the sight distance.
Yeah,
So,
because I mean, if the tree is in violation of our ordinance, I mean, I don't know, I haven't seen it. If the tree is set back far enough, so be it.
No.
But if they have like a hedge out there that's too
Mhm.
tall, right close to the corner, you can make the homeowner pull it down, but I don't
Right.
think that's the case then.
no.
Any other new business? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to mention that the Beautification Committee is having another work day coming up where we will be transplanting some grasses that we're going to dig up from Veterans Park where they're getting too large, and we're going to transplant them over on Lakeview Drive. And if I have enough people show up, we may dig up some of the lilies from in front of the public safety building and transplant them at that park as well. And I just wanted to commend my group once again because the mums are still looking beautiful. And I got a compliment today from a resident who actually said to me, "Did you see the mums at the signs?" I said, "Yes." So it was so wonderful. And just on another matter, the Beautification Committee is going out trying to beautify Waldwick, and we're doing a lot of different projects, but this beautification member is a little disappointed in the amount of local political signs that are being placed randomly throughout the borough, and it's not helping our beautification theme. So that was just something I wanted to point out. They're making it look messy. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Are we, is there any discussion on bagged leaf?
There will be, if the mayor and council would entertain it in new business. Yeah. There are two, I have a few items.
We're in the business.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
but if you're up to me. Yeah. All right, so two items. One, we have a vacancy in the Department of Public Works, and so I would ask for approval to advertise for a laborer for the Public Works Department. The mayor and council are in support of that. It will go out tomorrow. Obviously, we have a need to backfill immediately, so we'll put out an ad definitely this week, and hopefully we have someone as a laborer one by the end of the year, and then after that, we can consider any future promotions into the vacant position.
Anybody right with that?
Just a question. Yeah, so is this just an advertise and receive applicants, or is this civil service where you have to go through the testing system and so on and so forth, or what's the process?
This is a non-competitive civil service position, which means that there's no test from the civil service and there's no list provided to us to hire off of. We advertise ourselves and then hire into the position. Any promotion from the position, from this position or any above it, would require civil service testing, a list, and appointment off of the list.
I was going to ask the same thing, but now that you answered that, then this raises another question. Why do we think it's going to take till January 1st? Why can't we hire quicker, take advantage of it now with the upcoming leaf season, avoid extra overtime, and get somebody on board quicker?
I think if looking at the calendar, Today's the 12th. If we advertise this week, you figure an ad's going to be out there at a minimum of 2, I would suggest 3 weeks, which brings us into November. If we interview the week of November 8th, maybe make a decision and some recommendation to the mayor and council the last 2 weeks in November, I would expect that any employee would have to give at least 2 weeks' notice to their current employer, which is going to bring us into December. So
But
I would
the po-
anticipate it.
But the
being
point is we have to advertise if there's already possible candidates that are aware of the position coming up and we find them suitable, can they be hired without going through that whole process?
Absolutely,
All right.
yeah. I,
Just keep our avenues open, because the sooner we get somebody on the board,
Yep.
the more manpower, woman power we have, and the less overtime we're trying to get things up, especially
Sure.
when we allow bag leaf collections.
absolutely. All right, on to bag leaves?
Yep.
Okay, so for bag leaves, I had included some information in last week's memo regarding bag leaf pickup. To my knowledge, bag leaf pickup has been less utilized year over year recently. We currently collect leaves in 3 ways. We do bag leaves, which are picked up curbside once a week, and then we do a curbside leaf pickup with a loader and a curbside leaf pickup with our vac truck. The bagged leaves, right now, that's a 3-person crew out once a day. We collect about 375 yards in a year. By comparison, the loader picks up 5,000 yards in a year, and the vac truck picks up 2,400 yards in a year. Both of them pick up more leaves per day per person. And we have in recent years fallen behind at times with our vac truck pickup because of weather. The vac truck, unlike the loader, it doesn't work well when it rains. So if it rains, especially for a couple days in a row, and the leaves get wet, that vac truck could be out of commission. And sometimes we have difficulties keeping up with it because the bag leaf crew is the same crew that works the vac truck. They work the bag leaf 1 day a week. They work the vac truck another 3 to 4 days a week. And so if we were to eliminate bagged leaves, we could dedicate that crew to the vac truck. The vac truck typically picks up along our main roads just because it's a smaller operation, whereas the loader picks up along our side roads. So if we have another day for the vac truck crew, you've got less leaves blowing around on the main roads, which would also be a benefit. But you have to weigh that against the residents who put out bag leaves for their once-a-week pickup. They would still be able to bag their leaves and either keep them at their house and put them out when we do our 2 to 3 times annual curbside leaf pickup, or they can bag them and take them at any time to the recycle center and deposit them.
What is the superintendent do?
He has requested that we do away with the bag leaf pickup.
Mayor? Thank you. So we started talking about this last year, and you know, I kind of was hesitant last year because we didn't have this information, to be honest with you. It's like, well, you know, what's behind this besides we don't think it's efficient. So now you have some real good data, and it does seem to take away from some of the other leaf collection efforts. I will say, I think when we started the bag leaf program, the idea was to have enough people participate in it so it eased the rest of the pickup solutions. So it doesn't seem, though, that it's really caught on. I've always bagged. So I like bagging because it kept my street cleaner for the whole season. So you did answer one question I had, that I still can bag, but it won't be picked up until my pickup day. So that's great. So I would say that I went from, you know, supporting bag leaf to last year asking more questions. I think you've answered the questions. It does seem that our other pickup options are more efficient, and that's where our manpower should be. So I'm okay with giving it up. I say if we hear from people throughout the season or after the season, if we get enough questions about it, maybe we look at it again next year. But I'm okay with doing away with it now and focusing on the other efforts.
Anyone else? Yes.
Yeah, I've asked a few people who bag, because I'm the exact opposite. I'm thinking, like, looks like an awful lot of work putting them in all the bags. I just like to get them out in the street. But some people probably have the same opinion you do. They want the front of their house a little bit neater, or they're on a very busy road, or it's a windy area. I like the idea that they can still bag, but just to clarify, if and when it's time for their district to be picked up, are they expected to empty those bags out into the road, or the DPW will pick them up and, you know, just throw them in the truck with the bag and everything?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can put out your bag leaves in the bags
Right, yeah.
for the bulk curbside collection.
Okay. Yeah, with that option, I think that makes everybody happy. If you really like putting your leaves in a bag, knock yourself out, spend the extra time, do it, but it's just going to have to sit around until it's time for the pickup.
Yeah.
So I'd be in favor of this change.
And we would ask that they not sit around curbside until
Correct.
your pickup. You know, there are times that we allow you to move leaves to the curb, and so as long as you follow that schedule with your bag leaves, you'll be in compliance.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
And just to clarify, it's paper bags, not plastic bags.
Correct, paper
Correct.
bags, yes. And if you're interested in being environmentally conscious, you can choose to mulch your leaves on your property, which eliminates this problem altogether. So less leaves for bags, less leaves for bulks, less leaves for vac trucks.
Cut all the trees down.
And it's good, don't cut all the trees down. I think we're against that. And it's good for your lawn. So I think that, you know, I've seen that initiative in some towns and in the state, you know, pushing out that that leaf mulching is a win-win-win. So maybe residents consider that as well.
Anyone else? Yes. Nicole.
I just wanted to make sure, what happens with our weekly yard waste pickups? Does that still maintain?
As is typical, when we begin our leaf pickup, we will stop our weekly yard waste pickup.
Okay.
Yep, so that's what normally happens. And our leaf pickup typically begins at the end of this month. We have the schedule already, and we could put that out tomorrow. We just were waiting for this decision, so when we message to the residents what our leaf program will be for this year, we can include bag, no bag.
And some districts, I believe, have 2 pickups and some have 3. Will everybody have 3 now, or how will it stay?
Yeah, we looked at that. The elimination of bagged leaf pickup doesn't give us enough of doesn't free up enough resources to add a 3rd pickup for everybody. If we were to add a 3rd pickup, we would incur overtime
Okay.
in a substantial amount.
I think usually what happens when there's a big storm and there's a lot of leaves on the ground, we automatically go back again to make sure that everybody's picked up anyway. That's just usually the right thing to do.
I just want to get all everything out there.
Mayor? Yeah, leaf season, it's kind of interesting, non-exact science. Sometimes leaves fall early, sometimes they fall late. I think we kind of reserve the right because, we used to do 2 districts a 3rd pickup, and then we started adding a 3rd district for a 3rd pickup. So I think we've got to be flexible, start with the plan that you and the superintendent put together, and then we'll see how the season's going.
There's always the first pickup's the one that always has to go back to the 3rd time because
Yeah.
they're
They're
early.
early.
The leaves not down off the trees yet.
Yep.
Anyone else? Okay, go.
Is it a go?
Go. Go.
I like-
Joe,
Thank you.
go. Go. Any other new business? Okay, public comment. Anybody from the public would like to comment on anything, please come to the podium, state your name and address for our clerk for the record, please. Go ahead, sir. You may come up.
Al Colden from the newly paved 34 Dante Place. I would just like to commend our administrator, our council, and the mayor for doing a great job on 3 streets down by me. They were very, very efficient. Being retired, I could stand there and watch them for a while, and they really did a great, fast job, I have to say that. So, if you have to stay with anyone, stay with these guys. They're not paying me, I don't know them, but they really did a good job. And the whole street's very, very pleased with it. I have right next door to me two brand-new neighbors, a young couple in their 30s, and they were thrilled that, you know, the same week they moved in, the street was paved. Just something funny here. I just noticed that it just kind of strikes me. Under this Lisa Laura, it says, children's birthday party with alcoholic beverages being served. It shouldn't say served, you know, after children. Just struck me. Now, the one other thing I had want to mention, last week I spent 4 hours taking a new course for being a poll worker. You are going to be surprised, and you won't believe the changes that are going to be done to the voting. I've got no idea. You might have some ideas.
I do.
Why? But it's real tough. It's all electronic. No one's going to get away with nothing. The people still have to sign twice, and you know the poll worker signs twice too, I believe. But it's a very, very complicated thing. It used to be so simple, but you're going to be surprised when you do see what they did. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Hi, Lori Gillen, Schuler Avenue. I was here last month talking about the water tower that is next to my home. And when I was, you know, kind of talking with you about, you know, how disappointed I am about the way it looked, we were talking about maybe some solutions, and I was saying, like, a fence was probably not the best idea because the tower is 40 feet and the fence is like 6 to 8. Came home one night and a fence is there. So I really feel extremely disappointed, and I feel like I wasn't being told really what was on your mind, because obviously that fence was probably ordered prior to me even talking about it. As we all know, things don't ship that quickly these days, so I'm sure that that fence was even ordered. I'm just really here to tell you how disappointed I am, because now it is making it even more of, you know, like a beacon almost. It's like an eyesore now that that fence, it's pretty, it's bright white, and it's tall, but now it looks even that much more blatant in the neighborhood. I know that there's trees coming, but, you know, that fence is, and I know you've probably invested a lot of money and time and effort into that, but it didn't help. And I'm really upset that the fact that I talked about it and I was not told. I felt like I was lied to. So as a resident, you know, and the fact that it really affects my home and my visibility, and along with one of my neighbors directly, and now we have this giant white fence, and it didn't serve the purpose. It's not covering a 40-foot tank. It just doesn't do it. And the fact that I know that there might be trees there, but are you going to put 3-foot trees, or are you going to put 12-foot trees? I mean, it's got to be better than what it is. And I know that there's, you know, time and effort and money involved, but, you know, I'm part of the beautification committee myself, and it's very, very disappointing to see that the fact that I voiced my opinion and it just was not heard. As a resident, it's very disheartening and really upsetting, because we pay our taxes here, we keep our homes organized and clean, and, you know, our streets are great, but when it comes time for the public to voice our opinion, I really feel as if it's falling on deaf ears. And I think that this is just another example of that. So my purpose here tonight was just to kind of let you know how I feel about it, and knowing that I really think that that solution exasperated the problem. So that's really what I have to say. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So the newly installed water tower, the filtration system there, and the adjacent well house needs to be fenced in. All of our water wells and what will be towers will be fenced in for security purposes. What was existing around the well house was an old chain link fence, and we had an opportunity to improve that, which I believe was relayed to the mayor and council. We chose to go with a solid fence because it will cover more of the ground piping and partially cover the water filtration system. Obviously, we understand that it couldn't cover all of it. You couldn't put a fence to cover all of it, and if you did, to the resident's point, it might create more of an eyesore. The fence needed to be installed, and we chose the nicest fence that we could install for security purposes, with the ancillary benefit of providing some coverage for the ground components of that system. We do plan on installing 6 trees on that property within the next few weeks. They will not be small shrubs. They will be large, like full-growth trees that will provide some additional coverage. But from some areas of both the park, the street, and the residents around there, you will continue to see portions of not just the well house, but the tower that is currently installed, and the second one that will be installed next year as part of the full treatment system. So just so the mayor, council, and residents understand, this is not a choice that really the borough has to make. The DEP is requiring that filtration systems be installed on each of our 6 wells. The DEP is requiring that redundant systems be installed on each of our 6 wells. The size of the filtration system is determined by the output of that well, and the output of each well is needed to support the full demand of the Waldwick water system. So you're in an equation that results in these treatment systems having to be the size that they are, and the best the borough can do, and what we've done, I believe, so far, is the best to make them as appealing to or at least least noticeable to the air. Yeah, in addition to the fencing of the trees, the contractor did complete other portions of their project that hadn't been done at the last meeting. There was a pile of soil spoils from construction of the concrete pad that were removed. That area was seeded. They overseeded some of the grass areas that need to be done again. There was a portion of blacktop roadway in front of the treatment site that had been dug through, that has been repaved. So some other kind of beautifications have been done in that area, and others are scheduled to be completed within the next few weeks.
Anyone else from the public? If not, do I have a motion to go into close? Oh,
You got it.
Good evening, Mayor. Chris Feltman, 46 Hudson Avenue. I saw the topic about paving for tonight's agenda, and I wanted to come up and understand when do the roads get determined on when the paving's actually going to happen? I've been here since 2002, and Hudson Avenue still has not been paved. And I've seen streets here in Waldwick that have been paved 2, sometimes 3 times since the time I've been here. So I'm curious when you determine when the streets of Waldwick are going to be paved. And I assume you're looking at the street, you're going down the street, you are identifying with cracks and things that are falling off of the street with the pavement to make that determination. Can someone answer that for me?
our administrator will explain to you step by step what the process is on how they decide which streets to be paved. And also, if a street is not on the list to be paved, if there's issues with cracks, like you said, we send the DPW out right away to do the best they could to correct it until the time comes for them to have to pave that street. But as I said, the administrator will go over step by step what the process is for you.
So it's not it's based on wear and tear on the
He'll
street?
explain everything to you. So
Okay.
you'll know.
It
And then
depends.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It depends on who is funding the paving project. So we have a municipal paving program that we do each summer. That program, the DPW evaluates each roadway in the borough each fall, and we rank them on priority of needing to be paved. And so I can give you, each Usually by the springtime, I have a list of streets that will be paved, contingent on the bids that we get back from the contractor. We pave as many as the budget allows. So that's the municipal paving program evaluated by the DPW each fall. Separate from that, we'll do some paving with, sometimes it's county CDBG money, so we have paving planned down around the train station, which we expect to do next year. That is being funded through the county. There are certain requirements that area falls into that makes it eligible for funding from the county to do that paving, and we're restricted in the area where we can use that paving money. We also fund with DOT money. So the state provides money through the Department of Transportation. Those are typically higher capacity roads. We're looking next year to pave East Prospect Street. In recent years, we paved with that money John Dow and I believe portions of Hopper. And so those projects, both the county CDBG funding and the state DOT money, that's done with the borough engineer in conjunction with the DPW. They evaluate roads both in terms of need and in terms of fitting the criteria for that funding. And
Okay,
if your question specifically about your area of Hudson Avenue, we can certainly highlight that area when we review it this fall to ensure that each road gets a full evaluation, but we can put on a list, and typically we do roads that I see, maybe roads that the council sees, roads that the public sees, that they believe are in a higher need of repaving.
Well, I'd appreciate if you could come out and take, I know that other neighbors have been up here having the same conversation around 46 Hudson Avenue.
Okay.
And we do have a lot of children, so skateboarding, bicycling down the street. It is a hill that goes down into the cul-de-sac. I would like that to be considered. I'm curious also, when does the street cleaner come through and actually do the cleaning within each district?
They're not on a set schedule. We try to get through about once a month. So your street should be swept once a month. Yeah,
Okay.
there are areas that we do more frequently. The cul-de-sacs on and off of routes, or I'm sorry, the interchange on and off of 17. We try to do weekly. We try to do the main thoroughfares weekly. So that's Crescent, Hopper, Prospect, and Franklin Turnpike. We try to do once a week, maybe every other week.
Because I noticed we paid for that new street cleaner, sweeper, whatever,
Yeah.
and I have not seen that thing in probably about a year and a half come down the street. So I was just curious on when that gets done. So monthly, I should be on the lookout for this.
Monthly,
Street
yeah.
cleaner.
You won't typically see them if there's snow on the ground, but other than that, we aim to sweep each street once a month. Yep. And I can find out specific to your area of Hudson Ave, how frequently that's done and when it was done last.
Okay, should I follow up with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. Completely separate topic. I was actually at the Board of Ed meeting last night. Mayor Giordano knows me from running the lacrosse program in town for years and years. I most recently heard that they're going to move and getting estimates on turfing Hopper Field. Mayor Giordano, I know for about 5 years I'd come up every year and ask about what we're going to do in the town for these kids and recreational programs, and you had shared with me that there's a plan to build out Borough Park as an athletic center, and I'm curious where that is. I haven't been up here in probably a year and a half, just given COVID and the rec programs being on hold based on COVID, but I'm just curious, is there still plans to do that as the rec program, or are we relying on the Board of Ed to help with the?
Well, Borough Park is the responsibility of the borough. It's nothing to do with the Board of Ed. We were talking about it for a while. Right now, we're in a contract with we have a contract with the Baseball Association for their fields back there. Their contract is up in I think a year or two. And once that's up, we can probably figure out if we want to do it, still continue with that complex. When Patrick came in as the new administrator, we were talking about it. We're doing a lot of work in Borough Park, as Terry says, that they're trying to beautify it. We're going into the stream there and the brook, and we're trying to clean it out and everything. But, it's not off the table yet. But, we do need space for our young residents to play. It's not, there are more residents than space, unfortunately. that's something we could look at when the contract's up. Right now, we can't do anything in Borough Park right now, because we don't, that part of the area is all contract with the baseball association.
But am I right in that that contract just got renewed? The baseball contract just got renewed?
A couple of years ago. Not recently.
Not recently.
Wrong, but I think 2 or 3 years ago it got renewed. It's
Okay.
coming up for renewal. I think it's a 5-year contract we have.
It's a 5-year. That's what I understood.
And we'll have to, we would have to look into that. We would have to set up a group of people to come together and talk about that when the time comes for their contract.
Okay.
Because that's the only area really in Borough Park. Because there's no other area to do anything.
Well, no, I'm familiar with the town land because the rest of it's owned by the Board of Education. I was just very surprised that the Board of Education was able to turn this around so quickly, and I've been up here numerous times to ask about the recreational programs and what the town is going to do for the kids. And I know COVID might have stalled some of that, so I wanted to follow back up. I guess with the baseball program and the renewal of that contract, you can't do anything until that time. Is that right?
The attorney could, right? We cannot break the contract.
Okay.
Yeah, we could if we wanted to, but we're not, legal will give us guidance saying that we're not allowed, we shouldn't advise to do that.
Okay, well, I thank you for sharing the update. My kids are going to be in high school, so they're going to have the high school feel. When you and I started engaging in this conversation, it would be nice for the younger kids that are coming up through the program that are involved with recreational programs have this opportunity. Thank you.
Mayor, can I comment on the paving?
Sure.
Yeah, just want to add a couple things about the paving program. We, when we go through the budget process, we increase the amount of money we put into the paving, I think doubled from like 200,000 to 400,000, so we can pave more streets, I'd be surprised if we have a spreadsheet that tells you every year which street got done and when it got done. I'd be kind of shocked if there's been a road that's been paved 3 times before Hudson, but let's go look through there, because when you look through the whole spreadsheet, you can see exactly when it was done, what year, and I think you said you moved in 2002, but I could be wrong, but it's available, that information for you. You can ask Patrick to see it.
Actually, sir, it might have, the street that might have been done 3 times might have been work. It might have been East Prospect or West Prospect on the other side of town.
Yeah.
I can tell you that the new development right here, not right across from the Dunkin' Donuts, a little bit kitty corner from the Dunkin' Donuts, that new development, that's been done twice
Okay.
Since I've lived here. Now, I don't know if it's private and they've done it themselves, or if the town is responsible for doing that cul-de-sac back there, but that's been done twice since I've been here since 2002.
I'm sure Patrick can get you the data. I just want you to be aware that it's available to you so we can really get into it. Okay?
That's great. I will follow up with Patrick. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? If not, we'll make a motion to go into close. Motion by Don, second by Terry. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
Yeah,
Will be 5 minutes.
and just to note that we will take action, we